So what we got going on here is a box full of extractions. Specifically this one, we're looking at a Cordyceps extraction. One of the baselines at MycoSymbiotics. That Cordyceps, this specific recipe has transformed a lot in the last few years. From the original recipe that William whipped up all the way to what I call a concentrate-based extraction. And the concentrate-based extraction has done a lot for the flavor and potency of this specific extraction, the Cordyceps, as well as the other ones actually. So what we see here is a beautiful color, really rich, and a low alcohol concentrate. We're actually down to 20% alcohol as opposed to the original 35 to 40%, and what we usually see in the market around 30-40%. So less bitey and more potent, 850 to 1,000 milligrams per fluid ounce. So it's pretty potent for tincture base, and yeah, gives it that nice rich color. Alcohol allows it to be shelf stable, and we hyper sourced everything from the water to the shungite we use to filter that water. The Cordyceps were either grown locally or with some of the stuff that we've done. We still figured out the flavor was a little rough, so we went with a herbal extraction. This Cordyceps Hibiscus Rosehips. Really rich red color in that. That's that hibiscus. That hibiscus has malic acid, which makes it a nice sour hit. That Rosehips has a beautiful antioxidant effect. Pairs really well with the Cordyceps effect of the oxygen in the blood. So we're protecting our vital organs while allowing that blood to affect our muscles, get nice and strong. So beautiful pairing, very flavorful, delicious. Hard to limit yourself to just a couple droppers a day, but it's potent stuff, so you only need a few. And yeah, I think that's kind of a pinnacle. It's a delicious flavor, it's easy to put down. So really, with allowing ourselves to do an alcohol and a water extraction separate, we've allowed ourselves to target very specific compounds. We're using our alcohol, cold-based alcohol, for volatile compounds. These are usually lost through the saucelic extraction. So we do this cold-based alcohol with an ultrasonic assisting. It's not rough, it's just enough to get those volatiles into that alcohol, and then we'll reclaim that alcohol at a vacuumed low temp. So we're allowed to maintain those alcohols in our concentrates, which give it a lot more flavorful, a lot more tasty, a lot more potent smell to the concentrates that usually are missing in a lot of the ones that we're seeing. We're using an organic ethanol alcohol, which is, vegan, cruelty-free, that's organic, so it's a really good grade alcohol. With methanol, there's a toxicity issue that sometimes you can see if it's not treated properly. We can avoid that with not having to use it. We're able to get a lot of the compounds we're looking for, these triterpenes and the polysaccharides, with just the alcohol and water extractions that we're using. So those are why I pretty much base those two. The hot water extraction after the alcohol. We're not really after the volatiles anymore. We're after those heat-trapped proteins. So we can cook off the proteins a little bit harder in that hot water. And then yet again, we're now freeze drying that to a concentrate. So that's a really nice end product. It's really easy to dose back into our tinctures. It makes every batch exact, from today's batch to next year's batch, it's going to be that exact same potency, exact same flavor, because we're doing it from a concentrate. We're not just saying, oh, this many grams of dried mushrooms is going to give us this about this much medicine. We know this much concentrate over and over, batch after batch, is going to give us, this much in each one of our tincture bottles. Why do I extract mushrooms? It really started with the meal of lion's mane. I've always been into foraging, but I never really appreciated the mushroom medicinally until I found my first lion's mane. Got into foraging 2016, 2017 for a broad variety of mushrooms, maitakes, lion's manes, all of those outside of the regular morels and chanterelles that I picked since I was 3. But that first lion's mane, I ate it, I felt something, and I couldn't explain how I felt or why I felt that way until doing a little bit of research. Lo and behold, and since 1990, we knew that that stuff had neurological effects. So that drove me into finding and producing more lion's mane, and then eventually turning that into an extraction that I could take on a daily basis. So lion's mane, the effects of lion's mane really drove me into doing extractions, and since then it's just trying to produce all the little mushrooms that I can extract in their best potent form as a medicine for people to take.